evening, this is the Vsb Tv 11 News for Wednesday, July 2nd. I'm Peter Cattell. Our top story: after over 4 hours of deliberating, a jury found Wolde Gardner and Rekai Dickinson guilty of murdering Jamaican national George Lynch in May of 2010. The two men were also found guilty of using a firearm to commit an indictable offense. The jury was unanimous on their verdict in regards to Rekai Dickinson, whose nickname is White Rat. And in the case of Wolde Gardner, 9 of the 12 jurors agreed on a guilty verdict. Throughout the trial, the jury heard that Rekai had posted multiple Facebook posts about crime and had written on his WhatsApp cell phone messaging service the message, "Paid my dues, front page news." It was believed that the post was a reference to his involvement in the murder, which was on the front page of the daily newspaper. The two men remained expressionless as the verdicts were read out. They will both return at a later date for sentencing and in the meantime left court and will be going to Westgate Correctional Facility. When the Senate got down to discussing cannabis reform this morning, it became clear very quickly that the leadership role proposed by the government may not extend to the legalizing of medical marijuana. Government Senator Jeff Barron, leading the discussion on the Cannabis Reform Collaborative Report, started the ball rolling by stating the government would leave the introduction of medical marijuana to the medical profession.
The government should not be, writing prescriptions for medical marijuana, and we won't be.
But you will be telling the doctors that it's now a permissible thing for people to ask for it.
Well, again, that's part of the reform. We want to take a look at what things are going to be working, and again, we don't want to stand in anyone's way with that, but we will need to look at current legislation, current laws, regulations, and make sure that they are meeting the needs of contemporary issues in Bermuda. And this is certainly one of them. This is why we've taken a leadership role and have called for this document to be completed. This is not just a throne speech initiative. I want to make that very clear. We've looked at contemporary issues in Bermuda, and we've seen the need for a robust conversation with drug policy reform, specifically with cannabis. And so we're having that today. We've had it in the House previously. And we are looking at a pretty comprehensive document, and we make no apologies for the positions we're taking now. I mean, again, I keep saying at this time, we're not supporting full legalization. I'm not supporting people setting up sheds and things in their basements to grow marijuana legally at this time. What we need to do is engage other stakeholders, because this comes down to trade-offs. While you can point to many positive things that can come from a legalized drug scheme, cannabis scheme, we have to look at the trade-offs medically, from a health perspective. The usage will go up. If anyone suggests it won't, they're kidding themselves. So we have to look at all those other impact factors.
Independent Senator James Jardine was adamant that the introduction of medical marijuana would require the most stringent controls to avoid the abuse experienced overseas.
My own views are, as far as the medical use for marijuana is concerned, I think that there is ample evidence to support that. It is certainly being used in many places around the world for treatment of pain with respect to certain kinds of cancer, for example. And where there is a case that a drug currently prescribed is not giving the relief that it should give, then I think physicians should be in a position to prescribe the use of marijuana for medicinal purposes only. And I think, I want to pause here, I think it needs to be very, very strictly controlled. California and Colorado have had tremendous problems in controlling the medical operations that are dispensing marijuana, and to some extent it's out of control. So I think that has to be very, very carefully monitored here. The second thing is that I would say that I'm not in favor of legalization of marijuana at this time in Bermuda. I don't think there is any grounds to really support that. I think it's a pretty sorry state of affairs if we think we need to sell marijuana in order to create jobs and turn our economy around. We're in a pretty sorry state if we have to resort to that. On the question of decriminalization of marijuana for small amounts, I'm in favor of decriminalization for small amounts for possession only.
And opposition Senator Mark Daniels was disappointed to hear any talk about letting the medical profession control the application of medical marijuana.
I think at this juncture it'd be a little bit preemptive for me to say a party's position is to go for a more defined cannabis reform, but there is agreement in certain circles that we should be looking at it and exploring it. The challenge I think that we raised in this debate is that while it's good to have the intellectual conversation, it's slightly disingenuous because there's already a position that's been taken by the government. That was made clear before the report was commissioned and submitted to the government, and it seems to be the position now that we've gone through the lower house and now up to the upper house. Effectively, the government has indicated that it's only looking at decriminalization. It's not looking at cannabis reform, and it's not really looking at the medicinal components. I say not really because I know that there's been some attempts and applications to try and look at medicinal avenues, which have been met with some pushback. And I think that those advocates have spoken publicly about it, so I don't want to delve into the minutiae that I don't fully know. But as it relates to looking at the wider reform, I think that we're shooting ourselves in the foot. A lot of us, some who are in favor of gaming, would make references and say that, we've actually missed the bus on this, and a lot of jurisdictions have taken the opportunity or the bull by the horns, and we haven't. Of course there's going to be social impacts as it relates to cannabis. Of course there's going to be detractors and individuals against it. I think that we have the intellectual capital in both houses to put together a very comprehensive reform if there was a desire to do so. The reason why there's not a desire, I think the government has to answer those questions.
The police have confirmed that the identity of the man who died last night as a result of a road traffic collision is 20-year-old Jonathan Birch DaCosta. Mr. Birch DaCosta was initially placed in the intensive care unit after the motorcycle he was riding collided with a roadside wooden railing at around 1:40 a.m. on Sunday, June 29th on Somerset Road. Friends of Mr. Birch DaCosta, who was known to those close to him as Johnny Cash, took to his Facebook page to express their grief at the shocking death. Many people described him as a fun-loving person with a smile that could light up a room. Inquiries are ongoing, and any witnesses to the collision or persons with information regarding the whereabouts of 20-year-old Jonathan Birch DaCosta in the hours prior to 1:30 a.m. on Sunday should contact the police at 295-0011. This marks Bermuda's 6th road fatality for 2014. The failure of white groups to accept an invitation to the March of the People's Campaign movement is not going to dissuade them from their attempts to achieve peace and justice. This from the Reverend Nicholas Tweed, a member of the group, who tells VSB's Charles Webb that they are not going to be deterred even by the current economic climate.
I think that when the ground is toughest, that's the best time to till the soil. And so the circumstances or the context in which we find ourselves, I think, create the conditions in which people, by necessity, will be willing to engage in a discourse that seeks alternatives, creative, constructive alternatives that can enhance the promotion of communality and will promote the well-being and the improvement of the quality of life for all Bermudians.
There are people in Bermuda who feel that they are tired of marching. They really want to see somebody sit down and negotiate in a climate where there is a listening ear as well as a spoken voice.
I think two things. First of all, many of the people who say they're tired of marching have never marched. So it's somewhat ironic that you can be tired of pursuing a course that you've never undertaken. So secondly, I think that people should never make the mistake of thinking that marching is the only strategy. Marching is one tentacle in a multi-tentacled strategy that ultimately must end up with a dialogue between all parties in order to produce a shared commitment in terms of how to move the country forward.
As luck and common sense would have it, the yachts returning from the 2014 Newport Bermuda race will in all likelihood avoid the worst of the tropical storm currently moving up the eastern seaboard of the United States and scheduled to become Hurricane Arthur on Thursday as it passes North Carolina. The competitors in the race have had ideal winds as they made their way back to the mainland and are expected to be reaching their home ports today or tomorrow. Meanwhile, Tropical Storm Arthur continues to move at 7 knots in a northerly direction along the coast, and storm warnings are beginning to appear in the Carolinas. Cruise ships planning to sail to and from Bermuda are keeping an eye on the storm. After failing to make the list last year, Bermuda has returned to the top 5 best islands in the Caribbean area, according to the readers of Travel and Leisure magazine. Bermuda placed 4th behind first place Virgin Gorda in the British Virgins, second place Exumas in the Bahamas, and third place St. John's in the U.S. Virgins.
You can count on us. Great on the barbecue. Baby back ribs, only $2.99 per pound. Save $3 each on juicy whole seedless watermelons, only $12.99 each. Save $1.25 on Hunt's Ketchup 35-ounce bottle for only $2.19. Catelli macaroni, $1.89 for a 500-gram box. Save $1.10 on 2-liter bottles of regular or Diet Pepsi-Cola soda, only $3.49. All stores open till 10 p.m. for your shopping convenience. You can count on us.
If you've been the victim of an uninsured or hit-and-run driver, your medical and other expenses may not be covered by your insurance. The good news is, there is coverage. The Motor Insurers Fund can provide you with compensation to help you through the crisis, whether suffering from physical injury, loss of wages, or extra expense incurred as a result of your injuries. For further information about the Motor Insurers Fund, visit mif.bm or call 505-8555. The Motor Insurers Fund, assurance after the unexpected.
Laugh. Learn. Love. Live. Life on Logic TV is that much better. With high-definition TV like never before and unparalleled picture quality with interactive features like Catch-Up TV and Restart TV, so you can instantly restart, rewind, and pause live TV without a DVR. Logic TV bundles include Internet plus access, high-definition TV, and home phone, starting at $179 with a free install. LOL. Enjoy life on Logic TV. Contact us for more information.
The 4th of July is steadily approaching, and for Americans it means a day of huge celebrations. In honor of the 4th of July, the marketplace was tasked with creating special cakes to present to the U.S. consulate for the anticipated celebrations. Vsb News spoke with the 2 bakers who so beautifully designed the cakes, Charmaine Gift and Caesar. The duo said they have been baking and decorating cakes for between 14 and 20 years.
What made you pick the design that you chose?
Because the flag represents the U.S.
And how long did the cake take?
It took us about maybe an hour.
So, on a whole, about how many orders of cakes do you get a day?
Well, it's depend on the for the celebration, but mostly by the weekend, it is a lot of orders.
How do you hope people will enjoy it?
Well, of course, the Americans celebrated on July 4th. It's a big celebration, no Americans.
They should enjoy it.
And about how many people do you think it will feed?
Average around 60 to 70.
Wealthy American stamp collector David Pitts has combined his love of Bermuda with his flair for collecting the postal items that emanated from the island from the time of its settlement in 1609 to the day the world began stamping its mail. His unique exhibition will be on view at the Masterworks Museum of Art until Saturday night, and visitors should look out for the 1620 envelope that began it all. Mr. Pitt's friend, Art Groton, who created the exhibition for him, talks to Vsb News' Brian Darby.
Now you have a 1620 envelope.
Yes.
That would make any man's heart stop, wouldn't it?
I would think so. It is one of 66 letters from the rich correspondents, and for reasons unknown to me, several were deaccessioned in 1979 and disappeared. They reappeared and were offered privately. we did buy them. The 1620 cover is the earliest known cover, not only from Bermuda, in private hands we're talking now, but from any British overseas territory. The earliest known is actually 1615, which is still in the archives. And
tell me about the owner.
The owner is David Pitts, and he's been collecting stamps, well, probably longer than I have, because he's a couple of years older than I am. But and he's a man very active in the healthcare business in the United States, but has been an avid collector of British colonial stamps for many years.
Well, quite clearly Bermuda caught his fancy.
He's been coming to Bermuda, he says, 20 times in the last 40 years, and he tends to spend time. He's here now, and he will be staying until the middle of next week, and he loves it here. And I think that was really what caught his interest, was the importance of Bermuda historically as a stamp collector. Normally he only collects stamps. He really prefers stamps rather than the envelopes. But in Bermuda, for some reason, he felt that he wanted to just acquire them and see what story could be told. This collection is probably the best that's ever been formed. And we're very pleased. Yes, well, there are many items here, the Parat Postmaster stamps and various covers to and from destinations that are the only ones known.
Now, here's a look at the daily markets, presented by Bias.
Here's a look at the daily markets presented by Bias. Equity markets were little changed after most indices hit highs yesterday. Bond yields rose and the U.S. dollar appreciated on positive economic news. U.S. stocks were little changed after indices closed at record highs yesterday. Investors also await the government's job data tomorrow. The S&P 500 closed at 1975, up 0.07%. 500 shares of Bank of Butterfield traded hands today at a price of $1.99 per share. Other Bermuda-related stocks listed in the U.S. closed lower. European stocks followed after yesterday's big move in the U.S. The FTSE gained 0.2% to close at 6,826 at the end of trading. Japanese stocks climbed for a third day as the yen depreciated against the dollar, and overnight, U.S. economic data added confidence. The Nikkei gained 0.29% to close at 15,370. The Brazilian index fell for the first time in 3 days after a fall in banking stocks offset gains from commodity producers. The Vsb declined 0.42% at the end of trading. U.S. Treasury prices fell and yields rose after a private report showed higher U.S. company hiring added confidence to the U.S. economy. The 10-year U.S. Treasury currently yields 2.62%, up 6 basis points. The dollar rebounded from an 8-week low against a basket of currencies after private jobs report showed hiring in the U.S. was stronger than forecast. And that was a look at the daily markets presented by Bias.
Save $2 per pound on extra-large seedless green grapes, only $3.99 per pound. Great on the grill, fresh Purdue chicken thighs, only $1.99 per pound. Wishbone salad dressings, all varieties, only $1.89 for an 8-ounce bottle. Brush on the best Kraft barbecue sauce, 18-ounce bottle, only $1.69. Big savings of $1.71 on Libby's regular mayonnaise, 30-ounce jar for only $4.09. All stores open until 10 p.m. for your shopping convenience.
Copyfax is Bermuda's authorized Samsung dealer. See a large range of Samsung color and black and white multifunctional machines, printers, scanners, faxes, and copiers, and all networkable. Copyfax has Samsung machines suitable for home, office, or any size business in an A4 format, taking up less room than other similar equipment. And replacement supplies are in stock for all of their Samsung products. Affordable shopping at Copyfax Limited, where service comes first.
Now at Big Savings Zone, there's the Kids Zone. See the latest bedroom ideas for tots to teens. There's a large selection of beds, bedding, all kind of furniture designed especially in mind for your child. And see the array of accessories for all ages. Big Savings Zone is the home of Ashley Furniture and Certa Mattresses in Bermuda. And the Kids Zone is only at Big Savings Zone at the end of Stocks Road, St. David's.
I just downloaded the Layer app for the Bermuda Sun, and it is so cool. You can find so many new videos, and you can watch sports and news and pictures and everything. You have to download it. It's really neat. All you have to do is put your phone over the image, and the image comes to life. You have a full video of everything. It's really, really neat.
Yes, I just done Layer, and it works pretty good. I think it's great.
I've never seen anything like it. It was unbelievable.
Yes, I tried the app this morning, and I think it's great.
Now, here's Earl Baisden with the Sports Report.
Junior golfers gave it their all in hot and humid conditions at the Belmont Hills for the first round of the 2014 HSBC Junior National Championships. Eric Douglas went down to the wire, defeating Lewis Daly 1-up, while Micah Ming defeated Joe Waters 3-2 in the championship flight division. Joe Waters defeated John Eales 7-6, while Tyler Emery defeated Ethan Souza 8-6 in the open flight division. The silver-level Bermuda gymnastics team concluded their competition at the USAIGC World Championships going on in Orlando, Florida. In the first day of competition, top finishes for the group came from Gianna Webb in the 12-year-old division. She finished third out of 57 competitors with a score of 36.475%, with Tamia Talbot in the 13-year-old division, finishing 5th out of 64 competitors with a score of 36.4%. Also competing in the 13s were Trinity Wilson, who finished 17th with a score of 35.35%. Ava Marshall finished 26th with a score of 34.9%. Also competing in the 12-year-old division was Kinzai Emery, who finished 17th with a score of 35.55%, and Naya Lightbourne finished 34th, scoring 34.45%. VSB Sports can reveal the groups for the Caribbean Football Union Women's Final that will be played in Trinidad and Tobago in August. Bermuda has been drawn in Group A alongside Jamaica, Haiti, and Puerto Rico. Group B consists of Trinidad and Tobago, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Martinique. Bermuda is set to open their account against Haiti on August 19th, and an encounter with Jamaica follows on August 21st before closing out the group stage against Puerto Rico a further 2 days later. The Bermuda Equestrian Federation has received official confirmation from the FEI that Jillian Teixeira reached the qualifying standard for the World Equestrian Games 2014 on both horses, Lac Vals and Camerino. Normandy will host the 7th edition of the FEI World Equestrian Games, which will officially be known as the OTAC FEI World Equestrian Games Normandy 2014. A special class agreement between the Bermuda Equestrian Federation and officials hosting the CSI 3 Bowheiden International Horse Jumping event in Belgium saw Teixeira get another opportunity to qualify for the World Equestrian Games. Trey Manders scored 95 runs to help his club, Salisbury Athletic Cricket Club, to a 24-run victory over Rutledge Cricket Club. Batting first, Salisbury were bowled all out for 229, with Rutledge all out for 205 in reply. I'm Earl Baisden reporting for VSB Sports.
We live in a beautiful environment. One way to help keep it that way is to always remember your reusable grocery bag. If you forgot, you can still do your part in saving our planet by buying a Marketplace green bag for only $1.19. Not only are they good for groceries, but they're handy for many other uses. Always have your bags in sight of you or put your grocery list in one so that you don't forget your reusable bags. You and the Marketplace are helping to save the environment by choosing to reuse.
Well, a bit of a mixed bag today, but we saw a little bit of rain, which is much, much needed. I'm Che Barker, and this is your weather. Our high for today, well, you can see it did not get all that high at all. 77 degrees, our high. The highest temperature of all time recorded for today, 90 degrees. So you can see we're way, way off. 3 p.m., 77. Low temperature, 72 at 8 a.m. this morning. Currently, we're looking at 76 degrees. Humidity is 75%. Winds out of the southeast at 10 to 15 knots. And the barometric pressure is steady at 30.19 inches. So far for July, 0.1 of an inch worth of rain brings our total for the year to 26.74, just off of that normal we'd have seen of 26.9, but we definitely could use some more. Let's take a look at our satellite map. Well, a weakness in our dominant ridge continues to produce a few showers today and tomorrow. And Tropical Storm Arthur, you can see him all the way down here by Florida, begins to move north, becoming a hurricane by early Thursday. He's looking to ruin July 4th for some understandably upset Americans. That was a tough loss, America. You know, Team USA, go, go, go. Well, that will pass well to our northwest by Saturday. Now, as Arthur's going to move through to our north-northeast, it will drag a boundary through the area with occasional periods of rain and showers Saturday afternoon and right into Sunday morning. So that's our first hurricane we've seen in our area for the year. Yay! Gateway cities, 90 degrees and mostly sunny in Atlanta. Thunderstorms are likely at 85 in Boston. Charlotte, mostly cloudy and 90 degrees. They'll be watching out for that hurricane. London, sunny and 79. 90 degrees and mostly cloudy in Miami. New York, thunderstorms are likely at 88. 95 and mostly cloudy in Orlando. Whew, hot already. 87 and thunderstorms are likely in Philadelphia. Toronto, we've got showers in 72 and 89 and thunderstorms likely in Washington. For tonight, looking at a low temperature of around 75, cloudy with a few showers, winds out of the southeast at 12 to 16 knots, but there will be higher gusts in those showers. For tomorrow, we're looking at a high temperature, warmed up quite a bit to 83, mostly cloudy, a few passing showers, mainly to the west. You see the winds out of the southeast at 10 to 15 knots. For Mariners tonight, there are no small craft warnings in effect. Seas inside the reef, 1 foot. Seas outside the reef, 2 to 4 feet. Sea temperature, 81 degrees. For Mariners tomorrow, there is no warnings in effect. Seas inside the reef, 1 foot. Seas outside the reef, 2 to 4 feet. Low tide is at 7:26 a.m. and your high tide at 1:30 p.m. Take a look at our 5-day forecast. On Wednesday, mixed sun and clouds, a passing shower or two by afternoon, high of around 83. Thursday, partly cloudy, a passing shower or two, mainly to the west, high of 83. Friday, sunny periods, high of 84. Saturday, sunny periods with rain or showers by mid-morning, but it's warming up at 85. The temperature comes back down on Monday, mostly cloudy, few showers, high of 78. I'd like to thank the Bermuda Weather Service for all their help. And here's your bad joke of the day. What do you call a dog magician? A labracadabrador. Huh? Terrible, I know. That's it for me. Enjoy your night. I'll see you soon.
The Defense broadcasting stations have more diverse programming than any other broadcasting company in Bermuda.
This is London.
11:60 a.m. The BBC World Service. All day, every day, all night, every night. 11:60 a.m. One of the stations of the Defense Broadcasting Company.
Thanks for watching the TV 11 News. Good night.
Peter Cattell's attire, courtesy of A.S. Cooper & Sons Limited. Outfit for Che Barker, provided by Alexander at the English Sports Shop.
Vsb Tv 11, Bermuda.